Hello and welcome to Read by Red. I'm Red, and today I'm going to be reading some r/entitled parents. Entitled Mothers at the Drive-Thru Special. Let's get going! Mother gets mad that our power was out. I work at a fast food restaurant. Last week there was an accident close to the freeway. A car hit a pole, so the power was out for approximately a mile down the road. Our restaurant was one of the many places without power. My GM made a sign that she taped to the speaker in our drive-thru that explained the power outage. She sent 2 people home since she didn't want to run up labor when we weren't making money. It was only me, the GM, and the new guy. We did as much cleaning as we could without the power until we were left with nothing to do but hang out in the dining room. First of all, the amount of people that went through the drive-thru, read the note, and came back to knock on the door to ask if we were serving food was ridiculous. We had to throw out all of the food we had made literally right before the power went out because we were in the process of switching to lunch. Most people were understanding when we explained that we had nothing to serve them. When the power came back on, we still had to wait for everything to heat up before we could cook anything. I was the only one wearing a headset, so I was explaining to everyone who came through that our power had just come back on and it would take a little longer before anything was ready to serve. Again, most people were really understanding. One woman, though, was really angry. "What do you mean you can't serve anything? Our power has only been back on for 5 minutes. It's going to take about 5 or 10 more minutes before our fryer and broiler heat up all the way. Until then, the only thing we have available is drinks." "But my son and I are hungry." "I'm sorry about that, ma'am. If you want to come back in about 10 minutes, everything should be back to normal." "We only want chicken nuggets. Just give us 2 10 pieces and we'll go." "We don't have any ready. We can't cook them until the fryers are heated up. If you come back in 10 minutes, they'll be fresh out of the fryer." "Where's your manager?" "My manager is in the walk-in checking the food to make sure everything is okay in there. I can get her if you like." "Never mind. I'll just go next door where they know how to treat their customers." "Okay, ma'am. Sorry about that. Have a nice day." I watched her go next door and get turned away there too. I was dying to know if she'd raised a fuss over there. I just don't understand what part of our power was out for over an hour and we need time to get everything ready some people don't get. Some people have no concept of how things actually work in their everyday lives. They just push a button and things come to them in their own heads. Things are complicated. Okay, here's our next story. Entitled Mother in McDonald's Drive-Thru. After I graduated college ages ago, my BFF's family owned a bunch of McDonald's restaurants, and they had to fire all their GMs. Since they trusted me, they asked me to be one of them. Anyways, I'm at my busiest store and it's a Tuesday at noon. There was an intercom that would quietly play the drive-thru interactions in the back, and I started hearing screaming over it. Entitled Mother is freaking out. I look at the order screen and she ordered 122 cheeseburgers in the drive-thru. Didn't call ahead, didn't plan, just showed up during the lunch rush on a Tuesday and decided to order the equivalent of 50 cars worth of food all at once. Of course, she demands to speak to a manager. FML. I come to the window and thanked her for making her order, and she has 2 options. She could either wait in the parking lot, or she could leave her number and we could call her when it's ready. Mind you, this particular store is non-stop drive-thru and lobby from 11 till 2. Entitled Mother screams at me, "I thought this was supposed to be fast food!" I tell her it is, for one person, not an army with no notice. Entitled Mother is more irate. "This birthday party starts in under a half an hour and I have to have this food there!" She said she wanted to speak to my manager. I told her I was as high up as she was going to get, so she could pick either option I gave her before. At this point, she has both hands on the wheel, 10 and 2, looking straight ahead, just yelling nonsense. I don't give a crap about this job, and only did it as a favor while I was looking for a job I actually wanted. I just cancelled her order, handed her the cash it cost, and told her to get out of the drive-thru. The extreme look on her face of being victimized will be in my memory forever. She looked like a mortar round was coming for her forehead. I looked her right in the eye and said softly, "You're blocking traffic," and closed the window. Clearly people don't know how things work. Food, even fast food, takes time to cook. Oh, she's such an idiot. Okie dokie. Here's our last story for today. You're blocking the drive-through. This happened earlier today. I drive a cement mixer and was just getting done pouring a drive-through for a new Chick-fil-A going up in the area. The drive-through is fresh and wet cement. There are construction fences all around, but the main building structure is completed. The fences all say, "Stop, construction, staff only," except for one that has a Chick-fil-A coming soon sign. I was washing down the truck when I hear a loud honking, not thinking anything of it as I'm in a shopping centre. I keep washing the inside of the truck down. Then I hear more honking and look over to the front to see a Karen, entitled mother, with her head out the window, full Karen haircut. Then screaming, "Move out of the way, you're blocking the ducking drive-through." I see she has 2 empty car seats in the back and a sticker in her window saying babies on board. I'm glad her kids weren't in the car when this happened. I'm not a fan of cussing. I came down off the ladder to go to explain that it isn't open yet. As I walk towards the car, she starts moving her car closer to me. She's now about 2 feet from the front of my truck. My truck is backed to the building. I keep thinking, how exactly does she expect me to get out? As I get to her window, I let her know nicely that the Chick-fil-A location is not open yet and inform her that she will need to move back so I can move my truck from the fenced-off area. Entitled Mother is having none of it. Entitled Mother is adamant that I move my truck out of the way so she can get into the drive-through. Well, I tried, I thought. I asked her to move her car back so I can move my truck out of the fenced area. Once again, she refused to comply and started beeping her horn again. I've had it. My truck horn, for those who don't know what one sounds like, is very, very loud. If you're too close, they can scare you and even give you a ringing in your ears. As she was refusing to move and constantly honking her horn, I decided to show her mine. And I started to move forward. Entitled Mother moved her car back quickly. She must not have checked her mirrors or blind spot because she backed up into a stop sign that was about 75 feet away. Of course, Entitled Mother got out, came over and started blaming me for her own actions. I forced her to back up into the sign. I'm 100% at fault for her car damage. And I rushed her car so she had to avoid me by backing up as fast as she could. I loved this one. Entitled Mother called the police soon after. Site foreman saw the entire event, but he doesn't speak much English and likely already had to deal with various people trying to get into his site, so he just sat back and watched until the police arrived. We each told our stories, and of course Entitled Mother made hers sound like it was a life or death situation, where she was a kind woman just trying to make it to the new Chick-fil-A for lunch, and I was blocking it just to be cruel to her for no reason of her own. Then, without warning, I charged her vehicle and forced her to rush and back into the stop sign. The officer came over and asked if it was true. I replied, "No sir, I have a dash cam with audio. You can see if you can play the file on a computer." Lucky for me, our foreman offered his laptop. Entitled Mother's story fell apart quick. The officer's face turned to a frown that I swear could have made the Pope feel guilty. He walked over to her, went straight to his handcuffs, and began to read her rights. Entitled Mother was charged with obstruction of justice, reckless driving, and misuse of 911. As she was being placed in the back of the police charger, I saw a man coming over with a 2-child stroller that had 2 babies riding in it. The officer explained the situation to him, and he honestly didn't look surprised. He just seemed to nod and walked quietly over to the car, took pictures, and unloaded his kids with the stroller and left. I feel bad that he had to go through that, but I'm under the impression that it wasn't the first time she's done something like this. I didn't press charges, but I reported everything to my company for their discretion too. I feel like I've run into more and more of these forms of people since COVID began. Yeah, I guess with the pandemic, people's frustrations are running high, but there's no excuse to take your frustration out on other people. Even though I know it's hard not to sometimes. I hope you liked that r/entitled parents, entitled mothers at the drive-through special. If you enjoyed this, please give the video a like. And please subscribe while you're down there anyway. Thanks so much for watching today, guys. And maybe it's time to go out to the drive-thru. Who knows? Have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.